Good morning, y'all. Welcome into Coffees and Conversation with your boy Joe Lockett. Grab your coffee. This is an interview you guys do not want to miss. I thought I was in trouble this morning because the guy that's coming in, right? He's running for a certain office, but law enforcement. Obviously, I don't know. He may have his car outside, may be in trouble, but it's going to be a great interview, you guys. If you guys know anything about Birmingham, the city, Jefferson County, right? There's elections getting ready to start happening right now. And what I love about what's happening with this show, and thank you guys for this, right? People want to come by and have the conversation with your boy Joe Lockett over coffee. Just talk about if you're running for any type of office. They got books coming out. Cool Santa stop by our show, man. Y'all got to check that show out. So thank y'all so much for everything that you guys are doing. And make sure next week you guys come out to Filter Coffee Parlor because the Cup of Joe I've been talking about for about the last 6 months is ready. Okay. And I'm lunching the Cup of Joe next week. We're gonna have a luncheon party right here at Filter Coffee Parlor, right after the show at 12 o'clock. So guys, come on out. Thank you guys for making us your morning stop. We appreciate you. We love you. And man, I could not have even imagined. I started the show and now I got my own cup of coffee. And when you're here, got a little surprise for you. It's gonna be happening during the lunch. So make sure you guys come on out, man. Thank you guys so much for that. But let's get back to the show today. This is gonna be a very important show because every once in a while you get a chance to interview really great people, and then you get to interview your friends that happen to be great people. This guy here, Jude Washington, has been a good friend of mine. His wife is a good friend of mine over numerous of years. Been knowing him for a long time, right? Now, his wife, one of the best, sweetest people in the world. Love her to death. He gets on my nerves sometimes because he's a cop, detective, undercover, all the good stuff. I have a cop. Really good guy. Give you the shirt off his back. But does he get on your nerve? Yes, Lord. And he's running for office. And here, without any further ado, my dear friend, the one and only, Jude, what's up?
Thank you for the wonderful intro.
How you doing this morning, man? I'm sorry about that.
No problem, brother. How you doing?
You doing good this morning, man?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Welcome to Coffees and Conversations, man.
Man, thank you for having me.
Man, I'm glad that I can finally get you on here, man. Okay, Jude, gotta ask you this, bro. Why you running for office?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is not something that just came, by spur of the moment. Back in 2018, I kind of ventured into running for sheriff, and I was going to do it. I was going to do it, and I had some other issues that kind of kept me from getting into it. We can get into that later on, actually, but it just wasn't time, And as a matter of fact, the current sheriff that's there now, he and I talked about it back then, and I was dedicated to running, but I had to take care of myself,
Well, politics, is nothing new to you because you're a lovely wife,
right?
Okay,
right. Yeah, she's the district attorney in the investment business,
for a long time.
Absolutely,
we love her. We love your wife. So, man, let's get back to I want to talk about you because I've been knowing you for years, but I know a lot about you.
Right.
And I think, if people are going to vote, they need to know who they're voting for.
Correct.
I know you got a lot of things you can talk about, what you're going to do for the city, how you're going to change it.
Right.
I got it. We're going to get to that. But who is Jude Washington? Did you grow up here?
No. Well, somewhat. So, not in Birmingham per se. I'm from San Diego, California.
Okay.
So, my mother and father, my mother's from San Diego, my father's from Montgomery, Alabama. From the age of probably 7, I was always going back and forth from San Diego to Montgomery. I would spend the summer here with my dad, go back home, and I did that pretty much my whole life until my mother moved to Montgomery, Alabama. And then I was still going back to San Diego from time to time. But my mother was in law enforcement too, so that was the catalyst to where I'm at. But
so mom was a policeman,
right? She worked for the county, but she did juvenile crime and that sort of thing, man. But just to be honest with you, I had no desire to be in law enforcement at all.
So, brothers and sisters?
I have a sister.
Okay.
A sister, yeah. My sister, she was an artist. I think she left there, went to veterinary school. Now she owns a pet grooming business in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you grew up in a 2-parent household, sister?
No, well, it was just me and my sister, my mother.
Okay.
My mother and father were divorced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so gotta ask you this, Jude.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer. Were you bad in school, man?
No, I was actually.
Wait a minute, what?
No, I was not.
Wait a minute.
I was.
No. I just knew you were gonna say yes.
Nah, you would have to talk to people who knew me in school.
Yeah.
I was pretty much I was that invisible person in school so much. I was very shy, extremely shy in school. And
Wait a minute, Jude, you were shy.
I was extremely shy. I didn't break my shy mode till I was in the military.
Really?
Right, that's absolutely true. I was scared of girls. I was just a timid guy. I played sports. I was really good at sports.
Okay.
And I think that was my goal. Sports was my thing. I wanted to get my mother out of our situation and give her the things that she deserved. So I played football, I ran track, I boxed, I swam, I did it all.
Okay.
And my whole goal was to be a professional boxer.
Okay.
I'm in the military.
You got them hands?
I used to have them.
So you was in school, so you didn't get in no trouble. So how you knew you had hands, man?
Well, I never really got in trouble at school until my last year in school. There was a guy. This is a funny story. There was a guy named Craig, same last name, and I don't know what Craig did to somebody, but some guys from another school had already been expelled from their school, came to my school looking for him, and they asked for who Washington was, and so they come in the cafeteria. I'm eating breakfast. The guy said, "You Washington?" I said, "Yeah," and he punched me. All right.
Wait a minute, he got punched for no reason,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah, he thought I was the wrong Washington, and he punched me, man. And,
right.
About 2 minutes later, man, both of them were sleeping. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew I had hands.
Oh, you put them to sleep?
I put that thing on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
So I always knew I had hands, but nobody else did at the time.
Right.
And I didn't really get really into boxing real hard until I was in the military.
Okay. So you was pretty good. I mean, you was a cool kid in school. High school, where'd you go? High school, Birmingham or California?
Actually, went high school, some in San Diego, some in Montgomery, Alabama.
How was that for you, man? Mentally, because that was tough going back and forth and changing. Was that not tough for you?
Yeah, so I have a huge family in San Diego, so that was made it easy. I didn't have a lot of friends whatsoever in San Diego, other than the people we went to church with. Because our church was more like family as well. So I didn't have a lot of friends outside of family that was outside the church. So yeah, it was kind of difficult. But I have 2 friends in Montgomery, Alabama, that grew up in the same neighborhood I grew up in, and we grew up more like brothers than we did family. As Andre Brinson and Chuck Everett, man, we grew up more like. And Chuck's father was like a father to me, both me and Andre.
Oh wow!
And so he just recently passed away, man, which was really difficult because I hadn't talked to him in a while. But it was difficult because even though I knew my father was from time to time there. Me and my father didn't have a father-son relationship. Matter of fact, we didn't really have a relationship until I was like probably 18 years old.
Okay, so this is Coffees and Conversations, right? And I want to go here because you're running for office for Jefferson County Sheriff.
Right.
And seeing your mom going through the things that she was going through as a kid.
Right.
Not having your father in your life, what did that do to you? How did you feel at that time?
Yeah.
Did you realize it? Did you want him? Did you want to be around him? What was that?
Yeah, that's a very, very great question. Because that's something I think about all the time. And I'm glad you asked that question. Yeah, I wanted my father. My father at one point only lived probably 3 miles away from us, man. And it'd be a year or two before I ever saw it.
Did you know he lived 3 miles away?
Yeah. When I was 14, I actually walked from my neighborhood along the freeway up into his neighborhood, knocked on the door, man, to get at him for not being in my life, man. And he answered the door, and I looked how big he was.
Can't change your mind.
Right, can't change my mind. And he said, "Come on in, your granddad is here." And I never met my grandfather. My grandfather lived in Saginaw, Michigan. I never met him. And here I am now, meeting my grandfather for the first time. And my dad, acting like it wasn't a big deal, And but my dad's family, I guess, is similar to that because I finally met my first cousins over 23andMe DNA.
Okay.
And my dad's brother's son, he and I stay in touch with now. He's actually an MMA fighter. He's pretty much retired. But he has a gym. He trains celebrities on fighting and such. And it's amazing how we all went down the same route of boxing and football, and we didn't even know each other.
Wow.
My cousin and stuff. So, but he tells me that his father was identical to my father. They had the same mentality.
Did you get answers from your dad to why? No,
and I didn't want them. Just before my father passed away in 2016, he asked everybody to leave the room, and he sat down and talked. And he was saying, "Listen, man," he said, "I want to tell you, man, I'm sorry for." And I said, "Dude, you ain't got to say nothing, because I don't hold it against him. I don't hold it against him. I had an uncle who was in the Air Force, and he moved to Montgomery, Alabama. He got reassigned to Montgomery, Alabama, so that he could help my mother out. And he was a very good father figure to me in some ways. In other ways, he was, he was in the streets, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but he taught me a lot about manhood in some ways, man. And once again, Joe, I think the manhood I learned in the military.
I've seen this. I've done many conversations with many young men, right, and men like yourself, where because the absence of the father, or maybe the father's abusive to their mom, it drove the young man to do what they went to go do. Because you said that you would say that, and I'm asking for you, that I'm not going to be him. I'm going to be better.
Right.
So did that drive you? Like, okay, when I get out of high school, like, did that drive every time something like really got hard and you said like I can't do it? Did that like push you?
It did, and it still does today.
Oh wow!
It still does today. My father, though my father was in the military as well, what I wasn't going to be was an abusive husband. I wasn't going to be a man to just turn my back on my kids. Now it hasn't been difficult yet. I have 2 daughters, man, in New York. And they're both law enforcement, man. And what was hard with that was the distance. So when they would get upset about the fact that they weren't around me or able to be with me, I always felt like I was just being what he was. But we didn't have that distance, he and I did. We were talking about just down the street. Right. But I feel their pain, and I wish there was something I could do better. And so I always feel like I was a failure as a father in that regard when it comes to them. But I don't think they'll ever know how much I love them. And,
I think they will once they watch this interview.
Probably. Probably.
So what makes you think, now, because I kind of feel where you are. I've been in that situation with my daughters too.
Yeah.
I wasn't the best father.
Right.
As you were going through life and you tell yourself you're not going to be like him, and then you see yourself going down that path.
Been there, man.
What does that feel like, and how do we pull ourselves? Because I pulled myself away from it. How did you pull yourself away from it when you recognize, okay, man, I'm doing the exact same thing that I said I wasn't going to do?
Joe, and I'm candid about this, what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I do suffer from PTSD. I'm a combat veteran.
Okay.
And I get treatment from, I have therapy from my counselors and such. But that really doesn't help. So I had to get me a civilian counselor to help me with that part of it. I really did. And we had that conversation. I said, I spent my entire life trying not to be what my father was, though I love my father dearly. I spent my entire life trying to be not to be what he was. And but I've seen myself going down that road, man. And you have to pull yourself away from it. And sometimes, you probably experienced this as well, where you get upset with yourself for knowing that you were about to go down that road.
Yeah.
So my mom sometimes, man, like, I just started wearing glasses maybe 3 years ago. My father wore glasses, and my father did this a lot. So, whenever my mom see me do this, she said,
just like your daddy.
Just like your daddy.
Yeah. Right. So you graduated from high school. You wanted to be a boxer, right? But you wound up going into the military.
Yeah, I initially wanted to go play football at college.
Okay. Did you go to college?
I did, but later on.
Okay.
I actually registered at Alabama A&M. I could have went anywhere probably, but went to A&M, man, and registered, man, with my best friend Andre, and he was excited that we were going to be going to college at A&M. Right. Within a week, I had signed up. I was already working at Montgomery Police Department. I started working for Montgomery, but I knew that I needed discipline. I knew that. I knew there was a whole lot missing in me, and that was the first time in my life that I invested in myself.
So why did you feel you need discipline? Because you said you're a pretty good kid in school.
Yeah, I was a good kid in school, but the discipline I needed was direction as far as what a man's responsibility was. I didn't know what that was.
So what branch of the military were you in?
I was in the United States Navy.
Okay.
And I was a combat corpsman. I was a Navy corpsman, which is a medic assigned to the United States Marine Corps.
Okay, how long did you do?
I did 6.5 years. I broke my back. It got forced out. A diving exercise.
Medical, so you got a medical discharge?
No, they tried to medically discharge me.
Right.
But I fought it because, you tried to medically retire me. But I fought it because, you get medical retirement. You can't really do nothing when you get out. So I fought it, and they booted me out. And believe it or not, they booted me out with 10%. I was getting $70 a month, and with a back that was broken. And I still get therapy from my back now.
Right.
But it took time, but the military sent me to college as well. So.
Right. So once you got out the military, were you thinking at that time, okay, I'm going back and I'm gonna go into law enforcement?
No. My whole thing wasn't just to be a nurse and do nursing. I went to nursing school, so I wanted to be a
Now
nurse.
I'm gonna be honest, Jude. Let's stop right there.
Yeah.
Do not see you being a I do not see you handling people.
Yeah.
Roughly,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Tender loving care, I don't see that.
I'm the paramedic.
We didn't see you on 41st, 40 and all that other stuff, bro. No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah. I was a nurse in the county jail for 3 years when I first moved here. Yeah. That's what I did when I was.
Wait a minute. You was a nurse?
Yeah. I worked as a medic in the Jefferson County Jail, man, for 3 years. I started out working when I first moved back to Birmingham. I was a corrections officer at William Donaldson Prison, and I worked there for exactly a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then right at a year, I got offered the job down there, and I went and took it.
You know something? As I'm talking to you, man, all jokes aside, I see why you have the passion for people, even for the inmate. Because I know, me and you've had conversations prior to, like, you said the worst thing that for you to do is to have to arrest somebody. Right. Because those are the things that you hate to see.
Correct.
Yeah. So I get it. Hearing your story now. So so you was a nurse. When did you say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go into law enforcement? What did that look like? Talk to me.
So what happened was the sheriff's office, the nurses, we were employed by the sheriff's office.
Right.
But they were about to contract out. So when they contracted out, they were going to send us to like Cooper Green, and our pay was going to be cut like in half. Mm-hmm. Every year I took the police test solely because I was going to be a reserve deputy because I was going to be the medic on the SWAT team, right? Mm-hmm. So I had already taken the police test. The day that I found out they were going to get rid of us, I was off work that day. Mm-hmm. I got a call from a lieutenant in internal affairs saying, "Hey man, like every other year, you're on the list. Do you want to be a deputy?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "All right, man." He got off the phone. He called me back about 2 minutes later. He said, "Did you say yeah?" Because I've been saying no forever. Right. And I said, "Yeah." So he said, "Man, consider this your interview." Because I'd already interviewed with several times before. Right. And I became a deputy. That was 1998. Okay. I think November 1998.
So take me through, because I think I know what a deputy is, but what is it? What's the difference between a deputy and a police officer?
So deputy pretty much when we talk about patrol, handle those unincorporated areas of Jefferson County. However, their authority goes countywide, so they have a broader coverage, and in some cases, man, up until recently, a lot more discretion. They also in charge of the jails, the courts, and such. Some of that stuff is changing right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're pretty much assigned to the unincorporated areas of Jefferson County, and they work for an elected official, where the city works for an appointed official.
Oh, okay, so that's the difference,
right? And we serve papers. Jefferson County deputies serve papers, notices and such like that. So they do executions. What I mean is set out when people get kicked out their houses and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So there's a broader paintbrush when it comes to county deputies than there is for the municipalities.
Mm. So how long were you a deputy?
From 1998 to 2023.
Wow.
Yeah. And I worked, started out in jail, did 4 years in the jail. I did almost 5 years on patrol. Mm-hmm. I went undercover in 2006. I stayed undercover from there until 2023.
Okay. I don't know if you can talk about it. If you can't, I understand. When you're undercover, are you undercover from home too?
What do you mean by that?
Meaning that, you can't talk about it, or sometimes your wife don't even know where you are.
My wife would tell you right now, and I know you're going to ask her, she would tell you, she would get upset so much about things that I just didn't talk about. And then like we would see people out in the streets and they walk up to me talking about it. And she said, "Who is that?" "That's in prison," and that sort of thing. And then when I started my nonprofit organization, man, the people that were working for my nonprofit were guys I sent to prison, who now are like really, really good friends of mine who really care about the public and the community and helping these kids. Mm-hmm. So there's so much she just did not know. And and it wasn't because I was trying to keep it from her. Mm-hmm. It was just because working in that profession, you learn to keep a lot of things from everybody. But that works
on your...
It does. My favor. Yeah. Because I don't want people to know who my family is, you know. And so if you notice on social media, I never posted pictures of my kids, my wife, nothing.
Yeah.
They do any of that.
Yeah, you don't post very often anyway.
No, just Walmart.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, man. Over the 30-some years that you've been involved in law enforcement, I know that you've seen the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you see now, because you're ready to run for, to be the sheriff,
right,
for Jefferson County? What is it that you're wanting to do? For 30 years of experience, and I know one of your worst things is having to arrest people.
Right.
That's part of it. What is it that you're seeing that you've seen all those 30 years? Like, man, I wish that I could change.
Right.
I wish that I could help these cats. What is that?
Well, you have to start with the sheriff's office. To be honest with you, you have to. Remember that phrase, "happy wife, happy life," that sort of thing. If you're over in a department and your people are disgruntled, then the citizens are going to be disgruntled as well, because they're not getting what they deserve from this official or this agency.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing needs to be I want to see people who are happy to come to work, who want to come to work, who are being allowed to do their job. And when we could talk about not wanting to see people arrested as much as we can, but that's just a fact of the nature. We would prefer that. I think anybody, I don't care what demographic you come from, would prefer to see people not get arrested, but you also have to prefer people not to commit crimes, right? So, I just think that there are programs out there that officials can use to try to curb the criminal activity of people, but in some cases that's not it. That is not it, and that's not that should not be the job of the sheriff or the police chief. I don't think law enforcement should be a social service agency. Gotcha. However, I do believe that they should put things in place to try to prevent people from going down that road. I do believe that.
A lot of times, you hear people, because police, and this is just me, policemen get a bad rep.
Yeah.
Right. But when it comes to the sheriff's department, you don't see the sheriff's department getting the same rep that the police get. Right. In public and on social media and stuff like that. But do sheriffs have the same problem that police have?
They do. It's identical. It's not. The difference is the city police always work in the areas where there's a heavy population of people. Where Jefferson County Sheriff's Office has more of a diluted population in the unincorporated areas of Jefferson County. Birmingham Police Department probably answer twice as many calls, but they also have more officers. We're supposed to have more. They do now. But so yeah, you're gonna get more complaints out of that. However, you still, when we talk about police getting bad reps, right? I'll give you an example of that. This has happened to me more than once. I was supervising the narcotics division of Jefferson County. A lady came in. This is investment. She came in, wanted to file a complaint, and she said that somebody had planted dope on her son. And so me and another deputy, we go up there to interview this lady, and we're sitting talking to her, and she's saying, "Y'all, it was a search warrant. Y'all came in, and I watched Jude Washington plant dope in my son's room." And I'm thinking, she don't realize who I am. Right. And she just talking. Right. And I'm like, okay. I said, when did this take place? And she said it took place this morning. Well, we hadn't ran a search warrant that morning. Right. And then and she just talking. I said, could you describe this guy? Right. And she's, who he is, his wife, the DA next door. I'm like, so I never told this lady who I was, but I'm just saying, she was pointing the finger at me. And you wasn't even there. And no matter, there's a possibility she went out and told a bunch of other people that Jude Washington did this. Right. So now I got this stigma of being that guy who did that. Right. And in reality, it had nothing to do with me. Right. And it had nothing to do with our department at all. Right. So one time, man, I don't know if you know this, Joe, but for 18 of those years I worked I was assigned to the FBI here at Birmingham. So we did a lot of things, wiretaps and a lot of other huge drug cases that I worked at. I'm sure you're aware of some of them. But it's nothing like listening to a wiretap and listening to people talk about you, and you're like, I did. Oh, that's how you feel about me? Right? You never met this person a day in your life. Right. So, but on the other hand, there's some bad rap that the police deserve. And I think where that disconnect comes from is accountability. I don't think cops are often held accountable for some of the things that they do. Mostly the most egregious things. They could do stuff that gets slapped on the wrist and they'll fire them for that. But you catch some cop beating somebody in the face on the side of the road, and they're going to do whatever they can to keep that cop from being fired or put in jail. So some of that's got to change. But there's a disconnect between the community and the police. A lot of that has to do with the media, and I'll argue that as someone who pretended not to be the cop for 18 years, I pretended not to be the cop for 18 years. So I saw both sides of it.
Well, I want to do this because, as I'm listening to your story from California to Montgomery, to being a nurse in the police department, to actually becoming a deputy for the last 30 some years, the system inside and out.
Yeah,
right? You've been there.
Absolutely.
You've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and the different, and you still want to become the Jefferson County sheriff in next May. Jude, if you're elected, what do you plan to do for the people, and why should they vote for you?
Well, I think that the easiest answer to that is what you do for the people is your job. I think what you should do is you provide a safe environment for them. And once again, you have the jails that the sheriffs are responsible for. You have the court system. You have the delivery of papers and such. Those things have to be done. They have to be done efficiently. Safety is my number one. That's my goal. Safety of the people. And right now, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office is really depleted in the numbers that they have of deputies, and the recruiting is just not getting it at this point. But there's some things that need to change to be able to bring people into Jefferson County. Then there's some incentives that need to be done. And I don't want to get into that right now. I don't want everybody to use my incentives. but one of the things I want to do, and that I think the public will probably appreciate, is I want to create a very first public corruption unit in Jefferson County. And that scares a lot of people because now you're gonna have these local politicians. Don't you vote for him?
Right.
You got a lot of politicians that do a good job. They do their thing. They care about their constituents and they do their thing. But working at the bureau for so long, I saw a lot of corruption that goes on in Jefferson County, man. And I believe once you start curbing that corruption, you really start curbing a whole lot of crime that goes along, and that gets into the violent crime as well.
But you're gonna have a problem because I know after I've interviewed politicians, right? Which you are now a politician.
I don't want to call it that, but yeah,
but you're a politician.
Right,
now.
I got you.
I hear that the numbers are down in the police department, and you're saying the numbers are down in the sheriff department. Is the numbers down because just young men don't want to be in law enforcement?
Right, but a lot of that has to do with the media as well. When you have these defund the police, this and that. What I'm starting to see, what I'm hearing now, these communities who were screaming that stuff are like, hey man, we need these folks. And now they're okay, we need somebody who's going to care for us, though. We need somebody who's going to hold these people accountable, And that is something that's really dear to me, man. I never tolerated that. Cops didn't even want to be around me because they knew they weren't going to be able to do negative things around me, And they'll tell me there's a lot of cops like that, man. Trust me. And you'll hear people say, man, don't deal with him. He ain't the police.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, we really have to start holding deputies and police officers accountable. That doesn't mean fire them. That doesn't mean arrest them. But once you start holding them accountable for suspensions, or just even sometimes as small as having a talking to, you have to correct things. Have to be corrected, and then you have to start building on those corrections.
I know a lot of people are gonna watch this interview once people share it out there, and I know you're gonna have people that if you win that they'll be working for you,
right?
And if I was gonna be working for you, right, I would want to know myself personally. If you are elected, right, how can I trust you? What does that look like for me going forward? Because whatever's going on in any municipality, right, that is what it is.
Right.
But now you're saying that, like everybody have said on the campaign trail, I'm different, right? I'm built different, right?
Absolutely.
Your record shows who you are. Like me, I know who you are. You're my friend.
Right.
But if I'm working there, right, what are you going to bring different that you already know that's probably going on in these different municipalities? What is Jude going to do that's different that's going to make the trooper that's working, right, go want to vote for you too? Because that vote helps too also.
Right. So again, they're very important votes. Not just their votes, but their voice is very important as well. But and this is, I don't want to start acting like I'm throwing shade at anything. Right. But when you look at right now, like the supervisors, the first line supervisors, they have really no say so. Right. So if you work for me and you do something out of line, I can't give you, a verbal reprimand. I can't give you a written reprimand. I have to turn that up, send it up the chain, let them deal with you. And there's no correction there. It's either termination or suspension. So and that's one thing you have to change, because trust is something that has to be earned. Anybody can say, I want you to trust me, but you have to earn trust. So for me to sit here and tell you, oh, you can trust me, every politician says that. Right. But I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not a politician. I'm a servant, and that goes. My record speaks for that as well.
You slow that part down. You say you're a servant.
I'm a servant.
There you go.
I'm a servant, and I've been, and then you know my record when it comes to my nonprofit and me working with kids and doing that. That's something that's been dear to me since 1998, actually, matter of fact. But yeah, I can talk till I'm blue in the face and tell people what I want to do, but I have to get in and show that action. But what you should do, anybody, if you get a deputy, take them to the side and ask them about me, and you'll probably get a good story.
In our elections here in Birmingham, majority of women vote. Right. And so that's probably a lot of votes that you're going to be going after.
Correct.
What do you say to them, to that woman that's going to the office and, you got your name brands out there that's going to be on the ticket, right? And I think you got 2 other people running against you.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, right? Great guys. What will you say to that woman, right? You got 3 guys that are well qualified, have done their jobs well, right?
Right.
But you're in that ranking too now. What would you say to them?
Well, women are hard to sell, right? Women are hard to sell.
It's opposite conversation. That's why I asked you.
And my name ain't Michael Piggott. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that following these guys, But,
right.
But the truth of the matter is, women are one of those people you have to be direct with them. They want to. I hear that on the campaign trail too.
And I think you just knocked your microphone.
Keep talking about it. But women are hard to sell, man. Just like on the campaign trail, what I've seen a whole lot of is you get men who will say, "Oh yeah, man, you're gonna run the shit, man. Look out for you." Women are gonna ask you direct questions. What are you gonna do about this? What are you gonna do about that?
Right.
But one thing you have to be is a man of your word when you're talking to them, because they're gonna call you out on it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been speaking to some women groups and that sort of thing. And yes, you're gonna get cornered and you're gonna be asked a bunch of questions. I don't think any question is a hard question. When you get to the point of where these questions are hard questions, then you need to rethink what you're doing. But no question is a hard question.
Women are like elephants, right? And don't take it in the bad way. They remember everything.
I do.
Right. So don't make a promise you can't keep.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I don't do. I even on this campaign trail, I've not made any promises to anybody. What I have made is let you know what I intend to do. Right. But as far as saying I guarantee you I'm gonna do this, no. One thing I can promise you I will do is my job. And that's one thing I can promise.
So, let's go here. So with the campaign running, tell me some of the fun things that you're seeing, because what I'm understanding, your team is telling me that you're going like on the, you out there on the streets and you're going house to house yourself,
right,
and talking to the people. So tell me some of the questions you've been asked out there and some of the things that you're seeing that, man, when I get in, if I win, I'm going to change some things.
Right. So what I do get from a lot of the public when I'm going out door to door is like, this is kind of sad. They'll say, well, yeah, man, I'm glad to see you out here doing this. Nobody else does it, And they ask a lot of questions like, what are you going to do that's different than what's going on right now? And I'm candid with them about, the differences. And I'm also candid about the fact that I'm not going to be trying to bash anybody. All I can tell you is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to be as polite as they let me be. I'm not talking about anybody else who's running. Just be polite as they're going to let me be.
All right.
But the truth of the matter is, I am running across a lot of people who ask a lot of questions. A lot of people are really excited about seeing you go door to door. And I'm not just talking about, I don't walk one block. I don't walk one street, whatever. I'll walk from 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock sometimes. My feet hurt and I go get foot massages, All
right.
But I do that every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I do it. And I want people to meet me.
What are people wanting you to do?
Well, a lot of people the biggest thing I hear is visibility. I get that a whole lot, and they want to see visibility. They want shorter reaction times to their calls, And I talked to a lady at Trustful who said she had a package stolen off her porch. It took the sheriff's office 8 hours to get there. That's unsatisfactory. And I understand there's other calls that are more pressing.
Right.
But it has nothing to do with the laziness of the deputies at all. It has everything to do with the numbers of people that you have. Birmingham was shorthanded, right? I think Birmingham right now is 48 officers short, and they got 90 in the academy. So they're going to be right back at the par and above where they need to be. And what did they use to get those deputies back? You know what I'm saying? And those officers back, I mean. Well, the personnel board helped with that as well. That niche. And our Jefferson is doing the same thing. So it is important to really look at the public and say, what can I do to make things better for the public? And so instead of looking at, I don't care, I'm not a celebrity, Joe. I don't care.
Right.
About, I don't care about what the public, I don't care about being on camera. I worked undercover 18 years, man. Even in the military, my job was pretty much in that level. And I went back over where there's defense contractor in behind the scenes. That's the stuff I care about. I don't care about being in the camera. I don't care about being a celebrity. I'm not going to mask. I'm not going to mask my shortcomings with throwing concerts or giving out gas cards. And not saying I won't do those things like gas cards, turkeys. Every politician does that, right?
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, I'm not going to mask my shortcomings with that. I want people to see what I'm doing, and I'm not going to wait every 4 years to start showing it to you.
So what I'm hearing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if you do something wrong,
mm-hmm.
just like I see you out here now, if you do something wrong, you're not going to go out and you're going to stand up and let people know what you did wrong.
Absolutely, I believe in that. And I learned that as far as my my treatment. Being honest, man. Whether it hurts you or not, you have to be honest with the people, man. You can't hide that, bro. You just can't do that. And because the people that work for you,
mm-hmm.
they see that.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes them disgruntled. It makes them see that you're a less than honorable person.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a deputy of mine who goes out there and do some foul things to somebody, or hurt somebody, beat them, and it's not justified,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be on television with that. Hey man, this clown did this.
Mm-hmm.
I got deputies bringing dope into my jail. Everybody in the street's gonna know if we catch it.
Mm-hmm.
This clown decided he wanted to bring some dope into my jail.
Mm-hmm.
That's what should be done, not trying to keep it quiet or hide it. You
don't have to answer if you don't want to, because I know you're on the campaign trail, but I know people watching probably want to know this. Right now in the sheriff's department, with people being out there, we got great guys. We thank them for everything we do.
Right.
But I put it this way to be nice. Is there some things within the sheriff's department that really needs to be cleaned up with the people out there in the field right now?
With the people in the field,
mm-hmm.
probably. I think what needs to be cleaned up is a lot of them are being thrown out there with very little training, very unsatisfactory mentorship, that sort of thing. I don't know of any personally know of anybody who's doing anything wrong.
Gotcha.
In the field,
mm-hmm.
but when the downfall starts at the administration, the top, and that's to me, that's what needs to be changed.
Okay, so as a rookie,
mm-hmm.
right? Because I hear you say something about training and not knowing. How does that supposed to go? Like in a rookie, does a rookie get to ride in the car with somebody
mm-hmm.
for a while? What's that look like?
So what happens is they have once you come out of the jail, you have to go on what's called a training car.
Okay.
And that's changed over the years of how long it is, 6 weeks, 12 weeks. But you ride with a seasoned deputy until they feel that you're okay to go out on your own. Then you get your own patrol car, you do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when that seasoned deputy that you're riding with only has a year's experience, what are you learning?
Mm-hmm.
If the guy who's training me only has 1 year experience, I'm not learning much of anything. And when you're so short-handed, that's the only option you have to put somebody who don't have experience teaching somebody else how to be experienced.
But I mean, you really can't go in and change that.
Yeah, you can change it, but
how?
That has to start with recruitment. That has to start with.
So you're gonna bring in older guys that already know?
Well, no, you can do that, but I think the numbers need to grow. So if you get more deputies, right,
mm-hmm.
then those guys who are training, they have more time to be cops on the streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then but here's the issue. Right now in Jefferson County, when you become a deputy, you have to work in the jail for 4 years before you even roll out on patrol, right? If you want to be a cop, do you want to work in the jail for 4 years?
Me, no.
No. So that what they do, I'm gonna go to Birmingham, I'm gonna go to UAB, I'm gonna go to these different departments. So what needs to be done is that jail and enforcement needs to be separated. And I know there was a lawsuit years ago that kind of stopped that from happening. Mm-hmm. But anything can be changed. Anything can be changed. And we need somebody who's going to actually get out there and put an effort into doing that. Now I'm sure that after I say this, somebody's going to try that. but the bottom line is that is a discouragement from anybody who wants to put on a badge and go out and be a law enforcement officer. To sit in the jail for 4 years and deal with those clowns, man, who just what you're dealing with is a bunch of people. And don't get me wrong, everybody in jail is not guilty. The county jail is not prison, right? So those people are just trying to determine whether they're about to go to prison or be set free, right? So what you have is everybody that's been arrested is in it, right? So if you want to go on patrol, you don't want to go there and have to deal with that, because what happens now is these deputies feel like, oh, now I'm just babysitting. But you have deputies who want to do that. You have people who want to work corrections.
Mm-hmm.
So let them go there and work corrections. And if you want to be a cop, that you be a cop. You'll fill those numbers on both sides.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna let you get out of here, but I want to ask you this one question, right? We're gonna say hypothetically you won.
Mm-hmm.
You're now the Jefferson County Sheriff. They won. What are you doing?
Well, first thing, yeah. Yeah, they want to be selecting my new administration.
Okay.
Day one. There's some things that need to be evaluated. Some audits need to be done.
Okay.
And that is my day one.
Okay. All right. So if people want to find more about you, Jude, what do they go look for yet?
Then on my website, man, it's www.judewashington4share@.com. Right.
And the key components of you, or what they want to get, or what you bring to the table, is what?
Right. So if you look at my initiatives right there,
okay.
It talks about the
deputy recruitment,
right.
separate. I ain't got my glasses.
Just separating up the enforcement and corrections. Yeah.
Implement jail improvement, commission homicide division, development a full-time multifaceted crime reduction unit. Effective, man, you got a lot of stuff you can be doing here.
Right.
Okay.
But those are all things that need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do it without people, right? So
right.
Recruitment is one of the first initiatives I have to do with the sheriff's office. We have to get those numbers back.
And the biggest thing is, I think, hopefully with this interview today, thank you for having coffee with me today. I appreciate it. But I think hopefully people got an insight to know who Jude Washington is. Right. The politician they're gonna see in the next few months, y'all, he's gonna be out there, he's gonna be doing this thing. But hopefully you guys can look back at this interview and know that underneath the politician there's a man. Right. He's somebody's son, right? He's a husband, he's a father, right? And he cares. That's one thing you care.
I do care.
That's one thing I hope people get out of this, right? That they know that you truly care. It ain't about nothing else, but you're really doing this for the people. Because you don't have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to do this.
I don't need to do this.
Right. At the end of the day, you're good. You retired. A lot of people don't know, but I didn't know until you told me you retired in January. Right. And so for you to go back into law enforcement, it got to be something that you love.
It is. Listen, I've been told on this trail, man, that the reason I won't win is because I care. That I've been told that. I've been told the reason you're not gonna win.
Well, I had Tracy Threadfoot. She's now married to the mayor of Terrence. She was on my show last week, right? And she said people told her that she wasn't gonna win, and she's the mayor now. Right. Yeah. So you got a good track record going.
I need to come talk to her.
So I want to do this because I asked her to do this too. But when you win, right? I want you to come back.
I will.
And I'd love to have this conversation with you and see what you're doing, man.
No doubt, bro.
Congratulations on good work out there on the campaign trail, man. And if you guys want to go there and follow him or find out any more information, where they find you at, Jude?
www.judewashington4share.com.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to get out to the people that that we missed in this conversation?
Nothing that we missed, but I want the public to understand that you have someone here who really cares. I don't care about the political side of it. I know I have to deal with the political side of it, but I am a servant. I am not a politician. I know you're going to hear the same thing from a lot of politicians, but those people who know me know my track record. Politics means nothing to me. I don't care. Politics has no place in the criminal justice system at all. And I'm one of those people I think can be a trendsetter in that, and making sure that we don't have politics involved in anything that we do.
These your people, man. Are you talking to them?
Hey, what I want to tell you is I'm asking for your support, asking for your prayers, but just look me up, ask about me. I'm your man, and I'm going to win this election, and I can only do that with your help.
All right, guys. Coffees and Conversation, man. The one and only Jude Washington, law enforcement, 30 years plus. If you guys want to know more about him, go out there, follow all this stuff out there on social media. Y'all know your boy Joe Lockett. I love you. I hope y'all have enjoyed this conversation, this episode of Coffees and Conversation. And cheers up, baby. Next week, y'all already know what time it is, right? Coffees and Conversation, lunch in the cup of Joe. Make sure you guys are in the building. Make sure you go out there and follow Jude Washington. I love y'all. See y'all next week.